Hello world travellers, reward enthusiasts and credit score builders. In this channel, I cover all types of credit cards. I'll give you an overview of the card, its pros and cons, and my take on that card. If you have a credit card that you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments below. Today's video, however, will be a little bit different. Instead of providing a review of a credit card, I'll tell you how many credit cards you should have. I'm sure everyone is wondering how much is enough, and today we'll find out. Do you need more than one credit card? The answer might be yes if you've ever racked up a sizable credit card debt due to reckless spending. It is undoubtedly true that using many credit cards might make your debt repayment unmanageable. There is no easy way to determine how many credit cards you should have, and having more than one credit card may have its benefits. Most experts concur that depending on how effectively you handle them, having several credit cards can either hurt or help your credit score. Americans continue to use the credit cards that are available to them despite this. The average American now has 4 credit cards, according to a recent Experian research. This number is slightly lower than in previous years, and it's consistent with US consumers' trend of paying off credit card debt as the coronavirus epidemic intensified their financial insecurity. If you use rewards credit cards, having numerous credit cards may give you greater spending power and opportunities to earn points, miles, or cashback. One of your main worries about having numerous credit cards is likely the impact it will have on your credit score. Although holding many credit cards can make it simpler to maintain a low credit utilization ratio. This is a frequent misconception that can hurt your credit score. Your credit usage ratio, or how much of your available credit you utilize, is 90% if, for instance, you have one credit card with a $2,000 credit limit and you charge an average of $1,800 each month to it. A high credit utilization ratio will harm your credit score when it comes to credit ratings. It might not seem fair to be penalized for utilizing the majority of your credit limit if you only have one card and pay it off in full on each time each month. However, it is how the credit scoring model operates. Most credit experts advise against using more than 30% of each card's available credit at once to raise your credit score. Spreading out your $1,800 in expenditures over numerous cards makes it much simpler to maintain a low credit usage percentage. The amounts owing component of your score, which accounts for 30% of your credit score, includes this ratio among other factors in the FICO credit scoring model. The only factor that weighs more heavily in calculating your credit score is your payment history. Now, let's talk about how many credit cards you need. There isn't a universal answer to that query because every person's circumstances are unique. To benefit from the ease, security, and other advantages of having at least one credit card, a compelling case can be made. Whether you need the extra credit lines to cover your monthly discretionary budget or want to use your everyday spending to earn different kinds of rewards like cashback, points, or air miles will determine whether holding multiple credit cards is justified. If you are struggling to pay your expenses, don't need them, or don't intend to use them for anything, even having 2 credit cards may be too many. Even if obtaining a new credit card occasionally raises your credit score by perhaps lowering your overall credit line utilization ratio, it is not advisable to obtain numerous cards quickly. Numerous card issuers have even put policies in place to tackle this issue, which has arisen as a result of customers who try to cheat the system by applying for numerous credit cards to collect bonuses and then cancelling their accounts after fulfilling the spending requirements. For instance, Chase has a policy known as 524 that prohibits approval if you've applied for more than 5 credit cards, regardless of the issuer, in the previous 24 months. Numerous fees and interest charges that accrue in various areas can result from having several credit cards. Some cards may have teasier introductory rates that spike after a few months, while other cards may have yearly membership costs. Premium cards frequently include these extra fees. Even with relatively low balances, managing all of this may get challenging. The fact that you appear hazardous to lenders and experience a decline in your credit score is another potential drawback of having many credit cards. Even if they're all paid off, having several open credit lines can make you appear to be a risk to the next lender, even if you have paid them all off. It is therefore essential to only apply for and carry the cards that you need and can justify using based on your credit score, ability to pay balances, and rewards objectives, even though there is no specific number that is deemed to be too many. You can maximize your benefits on each purchase you make with a credit card by having a variety of credit cards, but only if you are aware of the best ways to handle them. For instance, if you have a Discover It cashback card, you may take advantage of its rotating 5% cashback categories. to get 5% back on expenditures like groceries, hotels, restaurants, and gas during specific months. Perhaps you have another card that always offers 2% back on gas purchases. During the 9 months of the year that Discover does not offer the 5% cashback on gas, use this card. Furthermore, you may have a card that gives a flat 1% cashback on all purchases. In cases where a better incentive is not available, you should use this card as your main form of payment. With your Discover card, you might, for instance, be able to receive 5% on all clothing purchases made in October, November, and December. The rest of the year, where there isn't a special offer, you'd use the 1% cashback card instead. Store-branded credit cards can only be used to make purchases at that specific store or on their website. Should also be taken into account. If you're doing a lot of shopping in one location, such as for back to school, the holidays, or a large purchase like appliances for your house, getting a new store credit card that offers a sizable discount on those purchases might be extremely advantageous. Obtaining such a card and paying it off soon can be helpful to receive the discount, but it might also be a smart idea to close the shop card later if it is no longer required. Having too many accounts makes it easy to forget to make a payment or even lose a card, so you don't want to go overboard. Any funds that you may have accumulated will be swiftly lost due to the complications that might arise from such a mistake. Having several credit cards can improve your credit score, but they can also lower it. Everything relies on how effectively you use the cards you have. The same requirements, which are to keep your balances low and always make payments on time, apply regardless of how many credit cards you have. You should refrain from applying for multiple new credit cards at once, even though the number of cards you hold is probably not going to have an impact on your score in or of itself. More credit cards and subsequently a bigger credit limit can help you raise your credit scores over time if they are used responsibly. You might be wondering, can you have two of the same credit card? If you meet the requirements, many credit card companies will approve you for a different credit card. Additionally, if you always used your present credit card responsibly, being approved for the new credit card can be simpler for you. But don't presume that you'll be given the same conditions as your present credit card if you apply. Your current income and credit status, which may have changed since you applied for the first card, will be taken into account by the credit card issuer when deciding whether to approve your application. If you manage your credit cards correctly, having several of them has a lot of advantages. Knowing the advantages that each card offers, your credit limit on each card, and most importantly, your payment due dates will help you make sure that having many credit card accounts will benefit you rather than work against you. The greatest advice is to make the most of each card, maintain low balances, and, if at all feasible, make your payments in full each time, on time or earlier. Before opening new accounts, don't forget to examine the finest credit card options for your requirements and credit history. With this, today's video about how many credit cards is good for you to have is wrapped up. I hope you enjoyed it and that it was interesting for you. Thank you for watching and let me know what you think of it. These videos take a long time to make and are a labour of love. If you'd like to see my channel grow, please help spread the word.